Okay, thoughts on the debate surrounding the role of a social anthropologist and anthropologist, context being studying for a test, having researched the likes of Shaper Hoog's idea of militant anthropology, Hassan White, okay, that one doesn't really apply, but Hassan White, ethnicity matters, Gillespie and Double's take on the matter. Anyway, my thoughts are, after reading a little bit on this, it seems like there's an unclear idea, or not even it seems like, there is an unclear idea about, in our modern contemporary world and science, what the role is of the anthropologist. And there seems to be a divide between scientist and researcher and an activist. Some people have blurred it and kind of done both. Some people think that it should be strictly one, and some lean towards it being strictly the other. Well, I wouldn't say strictly the other, as in like, to be an activist you have to be, it's based on the scientific research, but they're different, because if you're a scientific researcher, well, in doing scientific research you should be completely removed from performing activism. I mean, reporting and researching it is one thing, but performing it is different. Okay, so there seems to be an issue, like a dilemma there. And I think honestly, like going forward, there should be practices into each of them as separate, because they both have a very important role. It's very important to take the research and put action and take action with it, whether it be in policy making or in the moment when you're faced with this dilemma. Okay, then second thing is, to deal with this, you could have the anthropologists have the anthropologist could be accompanied by a team or a person who is able to address medical or like emergencies. So if it's necessary to protect the public and protect people, or even protect the anthropologist, somebody's there, whether it be a medical personnel, like a shepherd who's had to call, or like got medical assistance from the person. I think there was somebody there. But they had to get medical assistance for somebody who would have otherwise probably not had access to it. And I mean, if it's further and it's a question of somebody's life being in danger, then, that would just be necessary. The only issue with that is it could affect the quality of the research, because there's a third person there, third party there. So like with Fassan, who did research on police in France, would the police still act the same with another person? They're already acting in the presence of Fassan, but knowing that there's somebody who's watching to make sure everybody's okay, would they still be going on as they did? Especially if this person is educated on the law, for instance, or whatever. But it could be beneficial just to have a team, so that the researcher can still remain completely scientific, and there's somebody else to do the moral work. So if it's a question of morality, somebody's doing that, and all the ethnographer has to do is take account of it all, And then bigger thing is, I think this points out an issue in our society, which is behavior going unchecked. And I bring the example in of crime and prevention. Most solutions for crime that we have are preventative, I'd say, or not preventative. but report the crime instead. So with the police, they show up after the person has already broken into your house, for example, or they're there to write up an affidavit, you know. Or security, yes, they're supposed to come, like the alarm goes off, they're supposed to be in the neighborhood, but the alarm only goes off once that person already broke in. So, and this goes bigger, like the one reading was speaking about people in the community taking things into their own hand and like putting 2 boys under holding because they did naughty business. Okay. Well, I mean, the boys in the first hand, like the fact that nobody was like, the community wasn't acting as a community and somebody wasn't preventing those boys from stealing in the first place. But 2, the fact that people could go so far as to put those boys in a lockdown, you know. Yeah. I mean, obviously, like, putting the whole world on watch, highly unlikely and very difficult, and probably not the best either. But yeah, I guess I need more thinking on that. But yeah, I'm trying to figure out if there's a better way to summarize that for this.